So I think we've talked about before how it's really neat when we have a client that at the end of the process or through the process becomes a friend. Um, you build that relationship, and when it's all said and done, there's a friendship that comes out at the end, and I think that's just really neat that that happens, and I think that's happened with a lot of different clients that we didn't know prior to starting the real estate process with them that we're now friends with.
Yeah. There's one couple I'm thinking of in particular, like immediately they came to mind. And this was before I was like a partner in real estate. I was just kind of doing social media, wasn't meeting with anybody, wasn't talking to anybody, but you were so excited about them. You're like, you have got to meet these people. Their kids are kind of our kids the same age. I think Chase and their son would get along great. And, thankfully, being, like, extroverted, like, that doesn't intimidate me. I'm like, "Sure, let's go meet strangers and be friends." But it was, like, instantaneous between the wife and I, and, of course, Chase and, the son, like, they just hit it off. They had a great time, and so over the course of, I don't know, it's probably been, like, 6 years now, like, she is truly one of my most favorite people. We do voice memo, back and forth because we like to hear each other's voices, but she homeschools, so it's, like we're never on the same schedule or whatever. But like, yeah, she definitely wasn't on my radar. I didn't even know her prior to you just being like, these people are so awesome. And then like with her husband, I mean, yeah, like you guys talk about things other than life. When you were, trying to get something started at church, you called him for some advice, and so that's been really awesome. And I love when your clients like love on our children. So I'm also thinking of this one lady who was like, bring Chase over, let him come fishing on the property that you sold her. Um,
She calls him Chase Bank.
Chase Bank, yes, because of the bank. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that. That's so cute. But yeah, it's like I find it to be like such an honor when they're like, come to my daughter's birthday, come to the family, graduation, like, and I have like a proud to be your wife and partner, like in real estate, when they're like, this is David, and they're like, David, the real estate agent, I've heard so much about you. And I'm like, because truly, like, there's a level of trust when you start talking about your real estate agent to your mom and them. I just think that's really cool, but we have built some, like, really awesome connections, with people that you didn't know prior to.
Yeah, I mean, I think of a couple too that I was referred to actually by another agent and ended up helping them buy a house. Um, we communicated afterwards, and they reached out, I guess, about something, and we were talking about church, and they were like, "Hey, we're really kind of looking for a church around the area. Where do you go? What do you recommend or whatever?" And we recommended our church, and they started going to our church for a while. They ended up moving out of the area, but I mean, I still have dinners with him on a pretty regular basis. So yeah, I mean, there's just countless stories that we could tell about people that we didn't know prior to helping them, with their real estate needs, that have become great friends, and just build great relationships with people. So I think that's a really awesome side effect that comes out of this. I mean, there are lots of people that we would not be friends with had we not interacted, in real estate.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about, well, our daughter got in an accident the other day, and I went up to the body shop of one of your clients, and his wife works there. And so we've been friends on the internet for years, and I love to make it awkward. I just do that on a regular basis. And so I was like, hey, it was so nice to meet you in real life. And then I was like, we need to get lunch. Like our husbands get lunch all the time. Like we need to get in on that and get to know each other. And she was like, yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, I run into people all the time where it's like, you feel like, because you come home and you talk about these people. And when you're working with somebody, like it's usually months. of your life that you spend almost daily interacting. So, like, I hear their stories, and then I feel like I know them.
Mhm.
And I'm sure you talk about me too, so they feel like they know me. But I was just thinking too, like, I don't know, so many times, like when you have a business, especially like a real estate business, people will be like, I don't really know how to support you because I'm not moving. So even in the relationships that we built, I'm like thinking of like our three neighbors who they live in our neighborhood. They're not planning to move, but they have referred their families, their out of state friends,
Mm.
because they see like who you are as a person and want to work with you. And I just think that's really cool. Um, Even you were talking about the one that was asking about like a church in the area. Like, I think that's super cool that you can, like, we don't have to compartmentalize our lives. It's like people know, like, you're a family man, you're a man of faith, you know? I just think it's cool that it just intertwines and they get full picture. You're like fully transparent and authentic.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's great too. And I mean, being a resource for people after the real estate transaction too. Like, we invited people to church. I remember showing up to church one day, and somebody came up to me and was like, "Hey, there's a guy here that was asking about you," and I was like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, I didn't know that somebody was going to be here, and it was a client of mine and his wife who had come to church, because I had talked about it and told them about it, and they came and sat in a service, and I think they've been back a couple times, so
I
that was
do.
really cool. But I mean, I've had people reach out to me for attorneys, or things that may not necessarily involve their house or the real estate transaction or anything like that, but it is an honor because I feel like they trust me
Mhm.
and they trust my judgment. So they're like, oh, well, if David likes this person, then and trust this person, then they should be good people.
Yeah. I think one thing, if anybody spends any amount of time with us, we are very particular about most things. And so, yeah, if we're using, an attorney for wills and estates, like, then it's not just a recommendation. It's like we know them, we personally use them. And again, and I think, well, there's certain things that you're more particular about than I am, but like I am, like I have a high standard for most things. So if you're on my list, then you're top tier. So, but yeah, it is cool to like for people to call you for resources and so, like I know you get a lot of calls for things that are sort of related to like household or like, family items or whatever. Um, but I think it's cool when I get, you know, what's your recommendation for restaurants and coffee? Where do you shop? Anyway, that's so superficial, but I think it's cute.
Yeah, no, it really is. But yeah, I mean, being a part of people's lives, their families, their kids. I mean, we've gone to clients' weddings, baby showers, birthday parties. Um, I have a couple that I've told a little bit of their story, but they walked into the office and wanted to buy two houses, one apiece. One is an investment property and one for them to live in. And yeah, we that was gosh, that was probably 15 years ago at least, and we still have lunch together. We've gone to their kid, we went to their wedding, we've been to their kids' birthday parties.
Yeah.
They've actually reached out to us during some tough times that they had, and we were able to kind of, you know, counsel them through that and walk them through that, and I've got them in touch with people for different job, opportunities, and um, so I think that's just really neat that you just build that trust and you build that friendship with someone that you never knew before.
Yeah. I forgot we went to their wedding.
Yeah.
What I remember about their wedding is because Melody Dutton is always late, that we barely made it, like, we saw enough of it, like, "We now pronounce you man and wife, you may kiss the bride," and we were the first people to the reception.
That's right. Yes.
I really try hard to be on time, but listen, ADD is real and time management skills are still lacking in the mid 40s. I'm on time for Jesus and business meetings most of the time.
Most of the time, that's right. But yeah, I mean, the cool thing too that comes out of, building those relationships is the referrals that we get. And it is, I mean, I said it before, like it's such an honor to, for someone to know you and trust you enough to refer their friends and family to us. And we really appreciate it. I mean, that's kind of what we based our business on, is, trying to build those relationships so that people will trust us enough to refer their friends and family. And um, it's neat to kind of look at the tree per se of, we got a referral from this person who was referred by this person who was referred by this person who was referred by this person, and then seeing who that comes back to and where that all started,
Mhm.
4, 5, 6, people down the line.
Yeah.
um,
I remember when there was one year that we like broke our events up into like those trees like you were talking about, where it's like we started with the one person, it was and invited everybody that they had referred.
mhm.
And one of those gatherings was like 20 something people. Um, and I remember sitting there going like, wow, this is really cool. Just to see like how they're related. It wasn't like all family or all friends, and just knowing the stories, but that, um, we need to do that again. That was a unique way to just like put people in a room and show them gratitude for, you know, referring us. But
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we've even gotten referrals from people that we've never done business with. They're in a house that they bought prior to knowing us, and they're still there, but they, trust us and love us enough to refer their family and friends to us, even though they've never had the experience of working with us.
yeah, yeah, like your mentor, like your business mentor became a client through his daughter who has never done a real estate transaction with you.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Every Monday,
Every Monday, that was another thing. Everybody needs an owl. Uh,
everybody needs an owl.
but yeah, that was something that was another really cool story that came out of, referral. Yeah, he was referred to us by his daughter, who we've never done business with, but we have a personal relationship with. And just during the course of the real estate transaction, he was talking about how he, really has a passion for mentoring men. And he kind of kept bringing it up, and finally, when we got closer to closing, I'm like, hey, how does that happen? How do I become a part of that? And he was like, let's get through closing. And he was like, then we'll go have breakfast and we'll see what happens. And he was like, I'm not making any promises or guarantees. He was like, all we're doing is having breakfast, and if you happen to get something out of it, great. If not, we're just sitting here having breakfast, two guys, just enjoying each other's company. So
Yeah. That's
uh,
been what, 6 years?
6 years,
Yeah.
we've been meeting pretty much every Monday. We're on a schedule unless someone has something, which is rare. We meet every Monday, and if we don't meet on a Monday, we try and make it up, to where we meet probably 48 weeks out of the year for 6 years.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's been great for you.
yes,
Um, I was thinking like I don't have a business mentor. Mine looks a little bit different, but I do have an accountability partner who started as our personal friend, and then he came on board to help us with systems and processes. You've done business with him, but he's the polar opposite of me as far as like if I'm ADD, he is type A, on time, on schedule. Let's have a spreadsheet for everything. But he has been a tremendous resource to me in the business world, um, because his brain is so different than mine. So it's like, hey, I'm stuck in this thing. I can't figure it out. And he's like, oh, no problem. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, why didn't I think of that? Well, anyway, so that is really cool. Like thinking back, I even think about and he went to our church too, but the guy that found our church because you had a bumper sticker with our
uh,
church name on it, and then he was on the other side of one of your transactions which you didn't find out until later. And then you ended up being business partners with him and flipping a few houses. And that was a great experience.
It really
His
was.
family was awesome. Like, he was awesome. Yeah, talk about polar. He was also the polar opposite me in the best way, but like,
Yeah, and we ended up selling his house and selling his parents' house, and
I miss them. Sad. Move back to Georgia.